and welcome to this yoga quickie focused on easing out post-car ride. So I know it's vacation season for many of us and we're spending a lot of time on the road. There's also many who are starting to have to commute back and forth to work. And this is a simple sequence that doesn't require a ton of space, it doesn't require any props, and it allows you to ease out, particularly through the thighs and the hips and a little bit into the calves as well. And know that even though I'm not offering props, you're always welcome to use them as you're practicing in your own space. We'll start with the knees really wide and drop the sit bones all the way back, coming into a wide-legged child's pose. Release the forehead to the floor. An option to draw the arms in between the legs and turn the right cheek down to the floor. Making sure you're not feeling any compression, pain, or tingling through the neck. If you are, returning the forehead to neutral, maybe easing out of the width of the legs. Just feel your whole body settle into your mat, or whatever it is that's below you. And fall into your breath. First, not trying to change it, simply noticing its flow, its rhythm through your body. You're trying to stay centered and grounded in this very moment. The cheek is turned. Inhale the forehead to center and then all the way over to the left cheek. So car rides can cause some tension, particularly if we're drivers and we get frustrated. So really notice if your body holds that tension, where it holds that tension. Notice if your mind is resistant to letting go and dropping in. Meet that all with kindness. With a acknowledgement rather than a judgment of the self. And forehead returns to center. Take a full inhale. And a deep sigh out. Draw the hands underneath the shoulders. And then sweep the palms along the mat, reaching overhead. Press the palms down. Rise up through the shins. And settle your hips all the way onto the floor. Finding Sphinx, we walk our elbows underneath our shoulders. And turn the palms to face down. Spread the fingers really wide. And the feet are in alignment with the knees and the hips. Press down through the backs of the feet so much that you feel your knees slightly lift off the floor. So you're really rooted through the pelvis. Unclench through the glutes, the butt cheeks. Let them be soft. Then root down through the outer edges of the hands and the tips of the fingers. Press down through the forearms to rise up through the chest. Send the chest up and forward. Spread the collarbones. Walking the shoulder blades along the back towards the midline, towards the spine. Exhale, chin tucks in towards the chest. Starting to move with our breath, we'll inhale, draw the chin towards the left shoulder. And exhale, drop it down. Inhale to the right. And exhale to center. Take one more each side. Exhale to center. This time as we move ourselves to the left, we bend through left knee. Send the left heel to stack above the knee, point the toes down. Exhale, release the foot, release the chin to center. And inhale, switch sides. And as you move, making sure that you're doing what feels best for your body, not what I'm offering alone. Take one more each side. So if it feels like too much with the knees, then we can keep flowing through the neck instead, or we can flow with the knees without moving the neck. And exhale. Inhale, we come to the left and stay at the top. Point the toes down, find that platter with the foot, and pivot the right elbow so that the right hand comes to stack over top of the left inner elbow. Then we move the elbow aside so that the palm can plant down. And sweep the left hand to clasp onto the ankle. Press down through the right forearm to lift up through the chest. Gaze can look forward. Send the left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. Keep kicking through the left ankle, counteracting it with the hand. If it feels comfortable, the gaze can look back over the shoulder. And steady your breath. Keep rooting the left front of the hip down and towards the floor. One more inhale. Exhale, look forward first. Then release the hand, release the foot, return the right arm to neutral. Exhale, tuck the chin in. Inhale, rotate the right chin towards the right shoulder, bend through the right knee. Stack the foot, stack the ankle. Pivot that left arm to come over top of the right elbow. And set the right elbow aside. And here we can play. That right hand sweeps back to clasp the outside of the ankle, the lower shin. Gaze comes to center. Slight tuck of the chin. Pull the left shoulder up and right shoulder forward. Kick the right shin and ankle in towards the hand. Find that counteractivity with the hand. And try not to compress through the low back, but instead think about lengthening the knees away from the top of the head. So one big swooping position of the spine. Maybe the gaze looks back over the right shoulder if it feels okay in the neck. Exhale, gaze to center, release through the foot and the hands. And just take your elbows really wide. Release the forehead to the floor, to your hands. Let everything go. Feel your whole front body surrender to your mat. See if you can notice the shifts in your body from that simple sequence. And notice if in the pause, the mind wants to wander away from this moment. And you draw it back. Noticing the difference between left side body and right side body. Hands sweep underneath the shoulders, tuck through the toes. We'll press ourselves up into a tabletop position. And then wiggle out through the hips in whatever way feels comfortable and juicy in your body. Once you feel even through both sides, find our way to neutral. And a suction cup with the hands. So we press through outer edges and there's a slight hollowing underneath the palms. Like bend through the elbows. We lean our weight into our right knee. Lift up the left shin. So it floats about an inch off the floor. Inhale, send the knee in towards the chest or the elbow. Then draw it really wide. Lift up. Exhale. exhale, release the knee as far back as you can, lower it down towards midline. This is one circle, we'll take 2 more. Making the circle as large and wide or as small as feels good in the body. Just feeling through the whole circumference of that joint. Nice, and then we'll add one more sweep and straighten the leg as it comes back. Come up onto the tiptoes of the left foot. Squeeze the inner thighs towards one another. Try to keep the hips center. We'll inhale, open up through the chest. Exhale, press the left heel back. Try to take the movement through the ankle rather than through the entire body. Inhale, come back up onto the toes. And exhale, shift back. So there'll be a subtle movement of the pelvis, but you really want to feel into the calves, the back of the lower leg. This time we'll come back and we'll hold at the bottom, imagining that one day that heel will kiss the floor. Hug the hip bones together, engaging through the core, rather than letting that belly dump forward, keeping that low back really safe. And exhale, bend through the knee, release down to center. Shake out through the hips, maybe take some cat-cows or figure 8s if it feels better. We'll meet back in neutral for the opposite side, straightening through the right leg. And just kidding, we bend through the knee and sweep that knee forward. I was jumping ahead of the game. Find those big circles. And exhale, the knee draws back. 2 more. Inhale, up towards the elbow, spread wide. Try to keep that pelvis as neutral as you can, isolating that hip joint. Stay strong through the glutes on the left side. The next circle back, we straighten through the right leg, draw the toes to the ground. And soften through the elbows. If it feels like a lot on your wrist, you can always stack onto fists instead, or drop down onto your elbows. We'll find our flow. Inhale, open up through the chest. Spread the shoulders away from one another through the front body. Exhale, release that heel back. Feel the stretch. Inhale, come forward. And exhale back. One more inhale. We exhale to hold. Breathing through any discomfort. Keep lifting that left hip up and squeezing the inner thighs together. Feel that core. Feel that solid foundation in your body. And exhale, release the knee down. Shake it out. And take the hands a little bit further forward and a little bit wider, setting up for our down dog. Know that if down dog isn't calling you today, you can always take puppy pose, keeping the hips stuck over the knees and just surrendering the forehead or the chest down to the floor. Child's pose, as we did before, is also an option. If we're coming up, we engage through the toes, send our weight up through the seat, bend the knees a lot. And imagine as though someone had a lasso around your waist and was pulling you up and back. Good. Now, inhale, come up onto your heel or toes and straighten through the legs. Exhale, draw the heels down. Inhale, lift up onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees. This time, look forward in between the thumbs. Exhale, step your way forward into a forward fold. Bend the knees a lot. Inhale, Hands to shins, find a flat back. Exhale, bend the knees, release the hands to the floor. Step the left foot all the way back. Drop the left knee down. And then adjust your hands so they come to the inside of the right foot. The right foot wiggles all the way out towards the right edge of the mat. You may even want to take your left knee slightly out towards the left. This is lizard pose, and we can stay in this variation. Spread the collarbones out, open up through the chest. Or we pivot the right toes out towards the side, and every body is different, so every angle will feel different. I go about 45 degrees. And send the right knee back and away, so you should really feel into the inner line of the right thigh. Then lift up through the left hip, send it up and forward. Maybe we turn onto the outer edge of our right foot. So we lift up off of the right big toe mound, and the whole outer edge presses into the ground. That knee melts even closer towards the floor. And we inhale, exhale, tuck the chin in towards the chest. Inhale, chin looks over the left shoulder. Exhale, release to neutral. Inhale over right shoulder. And exhale, melt down. One more each side. This time, exhale, draw chin down, release the right foot back to center, toe comes down. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release the chin back in. Inhale, look over the left shoulder, and here's where we play. Option 1, bend through the left knee. Well, option 1 is to stay with the foot lowered. Option 2, bend the left knee. And this can be where you stay, or if you'd like to move forward, we walk our right hand slightly closer to midline and sweep the left hand back behind us, clasping onto the ankle. And you may want to wiggle the feet a little bit so that you're more on the fleshy part rather than right on the kneecap. Breathe here. Gaze can stay forward as we draw the left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. Point the left toes down. Feel through the front of the left hip. Or we can open up, turn our gaze over the left shoulder, maybe the right fingers, walk closer towards the right toes, and we rotate that left shoulder open. Keep drawing the inner thighs towards one another and sending that right knee out towards the right. And then exhale, release the gaze forward first, then the hands and the foot. Plant the hands down onto the floor. We sweep the right leg all the way back, keep the knee bent, then the knee comes all the way out to the side. Inhale, sweep it forward towards the elbow, exhale through midline. Inhale, come up and around. So we're switching directions of the circles that we did earlier. We'll take one more. This time as we draw it forward, we step the right foot forward and frame the foot with our hands. Lift up through the left knee. You can always practice this with the back knee down instead. Inhale, open forward. Exhale, straighten through the right leg as you draw the left heel back. Inhale, come forward. And exhale, lean back. Take one more. And then hold at the back. Stay really soft through the right toes as you ground down through the big toe mound. And think about rotating the right sit bone towards the left inner thigh. Keep pressing that left heel down. You can always add blocks underneath the hands or walk that left foot a little more forward or out towards the left. You can also take this as a half split with the left knee grounded on the floor. Lift up through that left hip. Full inhale. Deep sigh out. Breathe through any discomfort. We've got one more. Inhale, bend back through the right knee. Walk the hands forward, step forward, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, melt down. Here we go, other side. Sweep the right leg all the way back. Drop the right knee down. Take the hands to the inside of the left foot as you walk the left foot over to the edge of the mat. Maybe walk the right knee over as well. Breathe here. Find that space through the heart center. And perhaps you turn the toes out at an angle. Take a moment or two to feel into that before rushing into the next variation. Really present as we progress through the movements in our body so that we don't harm ourselves by forcing. And maybe we come onto that outer edge of the left foot, drop that knee back and down. Keep lifting up through the right hip. Inhale, send the top of the head away. Exhale, tuck the chin in. Inhale, look over the right shoulder. Exhale, release the chin to neutral. Inhale to the left. And flow here. One more each side. Exhale to center. Release the left foot, point it straight forward, the whole foot grounded down to the floor. And you may want to adjust your legs a bit as we move into our deeper variation. Turn the gaze over the right shoulder. Walk the left fingers a little more towards midline as we bend through the right knee. This could be enough. Or we find the right hand coming out towards the ankle. Gaze looks forward. Rotate left shoulder back, pull the right shoulder forward. Point the right toes down. Steady in the breath. Maybe you stay here, or maybe you rotate the gaze back over the shoulder, roll the right shoulder back. Opening up through the chest, adjusting the left fingers as needed. So if this feels really sticky, really tense, but you can still breathe through it, maybe we think about this being that person at the stoplight that was driving us nuts because they were looking on their phone, or they were stopped at a green light and not moving, or they tried to cut you off and merge. How can we use our breath to move through the tension in our lives? Stay here, one more breath. Good, exhale, look forward. Release the hand, release the foot. Plant the palms. Settle through the right toes and the right knee. We sweep the left knee all the way back and we find that big circle out. Exhale it back. Inhale wide. exhale towards elbow and midline. And then at the top of this sweep, we'll step the foot all the way forward. And reset our fingers so that they frame the front foot. Finding a lunge, we lift up off of the right knee. Lift the right heel to stack over the toes. Inhale, spread through the chest. Exhale, straighten through the left leg as we plug that right heel back. Inhale, draw forward. Exhale, back. Imagining as though your legs are scissors and the pelvis is that fulcrum, that point right between the two arms of the scissors. And squeeze the inner thighs together as we hold at the back. Thinking about rotating the left hip so that it draws towards the right thigh. And we keep lifting up through the right hip and sending it forward. And maybe our leg's not completely straight. Maybe there's a little bit of bend to it. That's okay. Especially if we don't have blocks or anything supporting our hands, it can be hard to get all the way into it. That back knee can always drop down to the floor as well. And find the breath. Stay with it. Inhale, bend into the front knee, lift up off of the right toes, and step forward, exhale, forward. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees a lot. Take the right hand, plant it underneath the forehead. Keep right knee bent, straighten through left leg as you draw the left hand up to the sky. Gaze can look up over the shoulder. Exhale, hand comes down, switch sides. Left hand plants, bend through left knee, straighten right leg, right hand sweeps up. Exhale, down. Hands stay grounded. Heel to the feet really wide. And exhale, bend the knees, let go. And straighten through the legs, point the toes to face out. Bend the knees, come into a squat. If that doesn't feel good, just meet us on the mat. We'll take our soles of the feet in hip width apart and sneak our sit bones all the way up to our heels. Draw ourselves onto our back, prepping for bridge. And wiggle the shoulder blades so that they flatten into the floor, walking them closer together. Palms turn to face the floor. Press down through the hands. Press down through the shoulders. Press down through the feet. Exhale completely. Inhale, lift the hips up towards the sky and imagine as though you have a block between the thighs. Exhale, melt down. Inhale to pulse. And exhale down. This time we'll stay at the top. Inhale to hold. Come up onto your toes if it feels okay. So lifting the heels off the floor, keep squeezing that imaginary block. Option one, stay here. Or we bend through the elbows, walk the hands towards the hips. Maybe we sneak the heels of the hands underneath the backs of our hips, coming into a supported bridge. And then the elbows walk underneath the wrists. You can release the heels to the floor, keep the heels lifted. This feels like too much, you can always come back into a bridge or let the low back settle to the ground, walk the feet wide, drop the knees in for constructive rest. We inhale, lift back up onto our toes if the heels were lowered. Exhale, release the hands all the way down to the floor. Inhale, stay up on our toes if we can. Lift the hips. Exhale, release down through the spine, one vertebrae at a time. The heels last to lower. Nice. Walk the feet out towards the very edges of your mat. Inhale at center. Exhale, drop the knees over to the left. Inhale, back up. Exhale, drop the knees out to the right. Windshield wiper through the legs. Figured that was mandatory in a class based on sitting in a car for a long time. Just kidding, it was a total coincidence. And over to the right. The next time you come to the left, stay there. Option to hook your left ankle on top of the right thigh to passively compress that thigh down towards the ground. Gaze can look over the right shoulder if you want to. Move through the neck, winding down. Letting all of that energy start to settle as it flows through the body. Gaze turns up to center. Unclasp the ankle if it was hooked. Inhale to center and exhale over to the right. Take a breath there. Maybe the ankle hooks. Perhaps the gaze turns over towards the left the big thumb. Gaze returns to center. Unhook the ankle. Come up to center. Straighten through the legs. Finding our Shavasana. Knowing that you're practicing at home or in a space that doesn't have a time limit. So if there's anything else your body needs, take it. When you do arrive in your final resting pose, let your body be cradled by your mat. Let go of any control, any resisting. And we'll take a few rounds of breath together, and then I'll leave you here lying in this pose so that you can stay for as long as you need to. Inhale, thanking yourself for showing up on your mat. Exhale, letting go of any remaining resistance that you feel. Any guilt or shame, any frustration or tension in the body. Let the breath settle. Just reminding yourself it's okay to carve out time to be fully present and feel where you're at. And that these brief pauses in your day to move through and release are also ways to give back to your community, because you no longer carry that tension into whatever conversation you move into next. 5 minutes or 5 breaths right before you get out of your car, get out of one conversation and move into the next, to sit with the breath, to slow everything down, preparing yourself to feel more grounded and settled. And take a final clearing breath together, inhaling completely through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out. Stay down here for as long as you need to, reminding yourself to ease out slowly thank you so much for showing up and spending this time with me. And until next time, enjoy the rest of your day.
These videos are made through love and hard work. Your contributions allow me to keep sharing new content with you. If you're able to give back financially, please click the Make a Donation button on the homepage of this channel. You're also welcome to subscribe to stay up to date on the latest video offerings. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Don't be Kona!